back to my channel. So today's video is a different kind of video. I'm actually going to be reviewing the hair that you see on my head here and also giving you kind of like my first impressions of it, you know, kind of a review, and also my tips and tricks on how to style this hair or a wig, a weave, whatever kind of hair extensions you have in your head. So it's just all of that jumbled up into one video. So if you want to see how I style these hair extensions and learn more about these hair extensions, then please keep watching. But first things first, I want to talk about what the hair is and who it's by. The hair is from a company that is fairly new on the hair market. The hair company is called First Hair Extensions and it's by Zury. And this hair company is unique in so many different ways in that this hair is 100% green fiber hair, which means that it's flame retardant and it's non-toxic, which is very, very important to anyone who is wearing a weave or some type of hair extension, because for one, you don't want your hair to catch on fire or to smoke or anything like that when you're trying to put heat to it. You definitely don't want that, because that is a disaster waiting to happen. And also you don't want it to be toxic. So that's one unique thing about the hair company. Another unique thing is that the hair itself comes in 3 bundles. The bundles that I got are 16, 18, and 20 inches. And then it also comes with a silk-based closure, which I think is just such a great and crafty idea to have that inside of the pack of hair in case you want to make a wig out of it, or you don't want to have you don't want to leave your hair out and you just want to protect your hair. So that's pretty much what the silk-based closure does. For the most part, silk-based closures are a lot healthier for your hair and a lot more gentle on your hair because of its silky nature and its feel and its touch. You don't want anything that's touching your scalp to harm your hair. You don't want your hair breaking off or anything like that. So having a silk-based closure does just that for your hair. It protects it, and it's also hand sewn. It makes it look so much more neat and natural rather than if it was machine sewed on, and having a machine sewn closure is just not going to look natural at all. So having a silk-based closure is just a thumbs up in my opinion. I absolutely love the idea that they put it in the pack with 3 bundles. Like, that's genius. That means that I don't have to go and separately buy a closure or make myself a closure when it's just right there in the pack for me. So that's a big thumbs up for me. I absolutely love that idea. So another thing about the hair is it's kind of thin. It's a little thin, which kind of caught me off guard. I have like a little test sample here, but I'm actually going to be using this sample to show you how to make a clip, which is how I install my extensions. I'm actually wearing a set of clip-ins that I made myself last night. Clip-ins are so easy to do, except that they're very time consuming. So it took me quite some time to actually do these clip-ins, but I think they're very effective in that you can just put them in whenever you want and take them out whenever you want. So it's very convenient for you and your hair and your time. But jumping back to the hair itself, it's kind of thin. They actually tell you that on the packaging that it's a thin weft, and I think it's mainly for wig purposes and if you're gluing it actually to your hair. I mean, honestly, this isn't something that I would really jump for if I wanted to do a sew-in, just because the weft and the track itself is so thin that I'm almost afraid that if I put the needle through it, it's going to snap and break and then my hair is gonna fall out. Like, I don't want that to happen. Nobody wants that to happen. So that's something that you have to be mindful of when you do get this hair, and I like that they also put that on the packaging as well. Also, kind of jumping back to the closure, having a silk-based closure that is hand sewn and hand tied on is also very effective. And also with closures, and especially with this closure in particular, you can switch up the part. Now, when you get the hair in the pack, it's gonna come in a middle part. I'm actually wearing the closure now, so it's coming in a middle part that you see here, but you don't have to feel like you are limited to only using a middle part. You can definitely do a side part, whether it be on the left or the right side. You just need to part that section in the lace closure and also make sure that it's looking very natural, nice and neat and laid and slayed. I will be sure to list all of the information regarding this hair and everything you need to know about it, all of the specs and lengths and all that good stuff that you need to know. I will list it down in the description box below, so feel free to check that out if you want to learn more about this hair and how to purchase it. Moving on to how I style it and how I look natural and make it look like it's my hair. You know, you always want to get that effect when wearing a weave or any type of hair extensions. You want that natural look and effect. You don't want to look like you just slapped on hair on your head. No, you want to make it look like it's yours. I mean, that's kind of the point of wearing hair extensions, to make it look like your own and to make it look like it's growing out of your scalp. So before I actually, you know, start styling it and showing you what I do exactly, I do want to note that the way I have it installed, like I said, are clip-ins, but I installed it a different way, and I think it's a more effective way to protect your hair. Instead of just leaving my hair out underneath the clips and clipping them on directly to my hair, I actually cornrowed my hair into 4 big cornrows. I did a middle part and then 2 side parts, just so that if in case I do want to switch to a side part, I can just move the lace closure over to one side to make a side part. But I do love this middle part, so I think I'm just going to always wear it in a middle part. But the main reason why I put my hair in big cornrows and clipped the clips onto those cornrows was because my hair has just been damaged from heat for so long, especially like the top part of my hair. So I wanted to braid it down and hopefully get back some of that lost hair and continue to grow it so that it gets longer and longer. And if I simply clip the extensions onto my hair, that means I would have had to apply heat to it every time I install these clip-ins, and that's something that I don't want to do. I don't want to get any more heat damage. I could do without that. So using the clips in this way is just what benefits me. So now we can get into the good stuff. So what I'm gonna do is kind of show you how the silk base closure is, you know, on my head. I didn't know before that all of my hair that's in this, that's on my head, are clip-ins, as well as the silk base closure. And the silk base closure is not only clipped onto my head, but it's also glued on like right here, just like a little section right in the front, just so that this front piece can stay on. So this is basically what the closure looks like. Oops. This is what the closure looks like. Like I said, it's a middle part, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I did to make this part look more natural. When I first got this closure, this part was not as natural as it looks now. It was closed together a little bit more. I'll explain to you later in the video how exactly I, you know, cleaned it up and made it look natural and nice. So this is what the inside looks like. That's glue right there. Like, that's the glue that was on my head, securing it down. And I don't know if you guys can see through this hair with this lighting or not. Maybe not. But there are little lines like in between. Okay, here, I'll just like bend some hair back to show you that there are individual tracks inside of the closure. So that's another track right there. So what you can do is make a side part. So all you need to do is just part the hair in that direction, and then just create like a little side part. And you definitely want to make sure you slick it down so it's not just like this hump sitting on top. But enough about that. So what I'm gonna do actually, and what I always like to do before even putting this on, is slicking down my edges and making sure that they're straight and together. So I'm using this Pantene Stylers Texturizing Sculpting Wax, and it's hold number 2. And I love this stuff for my edges because for one, it's wax, so it's definitely going to hold it, and for two, it smells like, it just smells so good. And then I'm just taking this, like, this brush is extremely hard. This is like, I was gonna say like a broom, but this is like harder than a broom. This is just like, this is torture basically on a brush, but this really does slick down the edges. So I'm gonna take some wax. I'm gonna really just put it on my edges. Now it's gonna look white at first. I'm actually gonna clip my hair back. So it's gonna come off as white, but once you brush it in, that kind of goes away. Okay, so then I'm gonna take my brush and you're gonna see how well it just lays your edges. Okay, so now for the closure. Okay, so actually what I'm gonna do is, because there's so much lace on the back, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is the back. There's a lot of lace right there. I'm just gonna cut it off. And be careful not to cut the hair or the actual closure itself when doing this, but you just want to cut off as close to the edge as possible. Okay. Okay, so now it looks like 10 times better. So the lace is just all cut off on there. So what I'm gonna do is just simply comb it out according to where the part is. And I'm gonna like hold it like upside down so that when I flip it over, it's good to go. So I'm just gonna flip it, and then the clip that's on the back, I just usually just press that back first into the center and clip it down. Make sure the hair is in its rightful spot. Now, as you can see, this is just, it's just propped up, like it's just sitting there. This is the reason why I actually glued it to my scalp, because when I actually clipped this side in, this was still sticking up, and it still would have been sticking up even if I put a clip on this side. So actually I'm gonna try and move this clip back a little further. That's a little far. Okay, so here's another trick tip piece of advice. You don't want your hairline, your little faux hairline, to start back here. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. Like, your hair doesn't start right here, so why would you want it back here? And you also don't want it, let me show you. You also don't want it sitting right like on your forehead. Like, that's a no-go. You want it just slightly moved back so it just looks natural. So what I'm gonna do now is take the clip that's on this side, and I want to take just like a finger and hold this part down. Take the clip, push that in, and snap it into place. So now I'm left with just my closure just sitting on top of my head like this. Now I'm ready to fully connect the closure to my head. So I'm just gonna take some black hair glue. I'm actually gonna take the back of my comb, and this hair glue is just really, it's just ratchet. So whatever I can get, I'm gonna take it, and be careful when applying this glue. You don't want to apply it directly on your hair. You kind of want to do it like where your scalp is, but like on the root almost. I don't really know how to explain it. So yeah, just take it and apply it, and then you want to just center it and press it down, and you want to just hold it there until it's dry and until it does not move. Now the glue is going to seep through the closure, and it may even come up through where the scalp area is, but don't worry, I'm going to fix that problem in a second. Now this is why it's important for not only for you to slick down your edges, but to also make sure that your lace closure is not back here or all the way up here on the top of your head. You kind of want some of your hair to peek out at the front just so it looks a lot more natural and realistic. Okay, so now that it's kind of on, it's drying a little bit. Now I'm going to show you how to make your part look a lot more natural. So when I originally got the lace closure, it didn't really look all that natural. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you, it didn't look natural and I almost didn't want to wear it. But don't let that discourage you, because you can fix it and make it look like it's coming out of your scalp. So what I like to do, and I actually learned this technique from other beauty gurus here on YouTube. So what you can do is take your comb and just like comb out the roots in the direction that they are going in. And take small hairs, and be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to take big chunks, and literally just pull them out. And now I'm going to actually conceal. So I'm going to take a really tiny makeup brush, any brush that you have, it really doesn't matter, just as long as it's tiny and it can maneuver into this scalp part. So what you want to do is just take a concealer that is not the shade of your skin tone, but the shade of your scalp. That's very important to do, because you don't want the concealer to be lighter or darker and just not match up with the lace closure, or you don't want the lace closure to not match up with your scalp. So first, kind of go over the starting line of where the closure starts. So I like to go right there and then kind of fade it into where my actual hairline is. Blend it out, make sure that it's looking natural. And if a certain shade of concealer isn't really working for you, then definitely use another shade that does work for you. So the next thing that I'm going to do is actually cut some layers into the hair, because once I got the hair, I noticed right off the bat that the hair was cut like straight across on the bottom. I'm going to brush through my hair. You want to be gentle because you are wearing clip-ins and you don't want them to fall out. So I'm going to brush through and also do one last run through with my comb, just to make sure every single piece of hair is laying in one direction. Okay, so if you guys can't already tell, the hair is shorter right here because of the 16-inch bundle that I have in at the top. So I already kind of cut some layers in this morning, but I didn't get a chance to finish because I was in such a rush, but I do want to show you guys how I do it now. So I do want to advise you to use normal hair cutting scissors and not these like craft scissors, but these are the only things I have right now. So I'm going to take the front pieces and I'm going to cut in a downward motion. Cutting in a downward motion rather than cutting straight across makes it more natural and adds that layering effect. So I'm just going to take it and cut it. I just thought that cutting it into layers was just going to give it such a natural effect, because when I first put the clip-ins in my hair, I was literally feeling like Morticia from the Addams Family, and I didn't want that. So I wanted something to frame my face instead of just being straight like this, like no. So I have my straightener on and I'm just going to bend the ends and curl the pieces. So for some people, their edges may be really thin, like mine. Like my edges are like tremendously thin, like very, very thin. So I use this technique to kind of make them look fuller and thicker, and then to also kind of clean up the concealer and the hairline. So what you want to do is take any black eyeshadow that you have and just kind of feather it in there. You don't want to put on too much, just a little bit, because you don't want to look fake and look like, I don't know, crazy. So I just kind of play around with it. You do want to make sure that you like comb it or brush it out. So overall, I think that the hair is just fabulous. I think it's fantastic. One thing that I do want to mention too is that it does tend to tangle a little bit and it does shed. So that's something that you need to be aware of if you want to ever purchase this hair. But I think that it's of great quality. It's so smooth and silky. It's nice and straight. And I think it's, for the most part, for now, kind of easy to manage. But just some tips on how to keep up with it and take care of it. Definitely brush it out. Try not to comb it as much because you don't want to actually comb out the hair and get like little hairballs. So try brushing it out and do it gently. Depending on if you have clip-ins in, sew-in in, or wigs, you definitely want to make sure that you're wrapping it at night. But if you are wearing clip-ins or a wig, then just take it out at night so that you don't have to worry about wrapping it or not sleeping with the scarf on and waking up looking crazy, anything like that. So you just take it off and just rest on your hair for the night, so you can just take a break from that. But overall, I really do like the hair, and I'm just still so fascinated with this lace closure because I've never had a silk base lace closure, let alone a lace closure, a lace closure at all. And it's just something new for me to try out, and I actually love it a lot, and I think it's going to be great for protecting my hair. So if you enjoyed watching this video and learning about how I style my hair and all of these tips and tricks I gave you, then please give this video a thumbs up and also comment any other videos that you want to see next. I'm thinking about doing another Halloween tutorial, but I'm not exactly sure because Halloween is actually coming up pretty soon, and I kind of don't want to put the video up like after Halloween. I want it to be up before Halloween, but let me know what you guys think. Once again, thank you for watching, and I won't see you, but you will see me in my next video, so stay tuned. Bye guys.